Hello everybody and welcome to my regular weekly look at the S&P 500. Gonna have a look at sentiment, bit of fundamentals, technical analysis to see where it could be heading next. Now last week since we last met, it's been a bit more encouraging to the upside, and this morning there was some good news out from China data there, giving it a bit of a kickstart, the S&P that is, to the upside this morning over here in the UK. Now, all this analysis is relevant to whatever S&P ticker you're using, whether it's SPY ES1 or ES, SPX, whatever. Like I said, it's all about the price analysis, and we're going to go through that in some detail now. So let's dive straight into the charts and see what has been going on. Now, this morning, like I said, we saw some encouraging signs from China. You can see that nice push up towards 45.30, and it's been trading sideways since then in and around that number. So looking a bit more promising this morning. US markets open in an hour and a half. Let's just pull that back a bit. You can see the steady daily increases. There we are last Wednesday, trending up quite nicely there over the last few days. So let's dive into some other stuff, some commitment of traders and seasonality information. Down the bottom we got seasonality, and it is affected seasonally, this stock market, like many of the stock markets out for many reasons. And at the moment, see on the right, just ticking up a little bit, sort of weak bullish, and then heading off into the doldrums over there on the left, before really turning around toward the end of October and then up and up and up through to sort of February time. So then the commitment of traders data, large speculators should be going the same way as the price. Well, they do, well, you can see that increase there corresponds to that increase there. Then been reducing the positions slightly. They were short, they were going more short again, so gone from less short to more short, about 146,000. But watch out for Friday to see what is going to impact those numbers again. It's a weekly indicator, this commitment of trade data out on CFTC on Fridays. But looking at that at the moment, we've had a slight pull off there over the last few weeks. Price, I suppose, let's call it a ranging price sideways action. It's been pushed and pulled by all sorts of variables, economic, global, political at the moment, so a bit indecisive. But like I said, it's trading up from where it was at those lows middle of August. Now what else have we got? Now my favorite S&P indicators, the VIX, and this is the daily chart, and you should see an inverse correlation to the price action. And we've seen that price moving on up, like we said, and you can see the VIX moving on down, currently moving on into the clouds. That's more neutral and coming down there, which is a bit more, well, that you would say was bullish. But like I said, you can just see that starting to tick up into that cloud. Gets through the cloud, then it's really is bearish. But at the moment, I'll call that maybe a bit more neutral, which we can see in the price action itself. And the VIX works in all different time frames. Take it down to the hour. Let's get rid of those drawings, clear things up. And what's going on this morning, let's do a bit more tidying. You can see that volatility coming down through there as we saw that price going on up again, moved back into the cloud in the last few hours, so giving us a bit of a neutral reading at the moment as we anticipate the US opening. But I suppose there, if we take it back to the daily chart, you've got to say weak bullish, possibly, as we'll dive into the S&P 500 charts and pull out that sort of idea of where it's heading next. But at the moment, that longer term view with the VIX moving up into the cloud, probably I would say a bit more neutral feel. Some other sentiment indicators, top left, S&P 500 stocks above the 50-day moving average. That turning a bit more bearish as well from little turnaround last week, so bearish there. Same for the 200 moving average against the 500 stocks, again turning bearish, and as well 52-week highs on the New York Stock Exchange also coming off. So all round sentiment neutral to weak bearish there. And heading into the price action, let's just have a look at the longer term. The regression bands I'm just pulling on there, no real change from the prior week, slap bang in the middle. So we've got a two-way 50-50 bet there at the moment, up to around, let's call that the mid 5,000s, and down to around 3,800, 3,900 if it collapses from there. Volume wise, we've got reasonable amounts there at that Fibonacci level, which is 4,250. Then we've got the arc down to those lows at 2,782 to 2,800. So it's a fast slip downwards if it happens. But we've got this 2 standard deviation regression band to think about as well. It does like to trade within it. And like I said, that downside was probably be supported by the 3,800 area at the 61.8% Fibonacci line. But like I said, at the moment, it's looking pretty 50-50 there. If you're interested in reversals, 4-line break chart, if you've been watching the shows, you'll know how I trade it a bit more aggressively, the 4-2 setup. You want to learn more about that, there's line break videos on my channel. A complete tutorial on how they work if you're interested in them. But here, looking for a bearish reversal in around, let's do, well, depending on where this block ends, but you can trail the stop for an entry. You could be maybe a bit more conservative, 4,400, 410 area. Super aggressive, you could be going short around about the 4,500 area. Again, change the time frames, give you different strategies and entry points. Again, on the shorter term there, the 1 hour chart, still a bearish setup in play, and we've got possibly around that the same 4,525, 4,517 for a possible move down. So that's the line break. And then heading to the Renko charts, the medium term. So we've got most of 2023 here. We can see the low back in December of the last year, and then it hasn't been a bad year so far for the S&P, not as good as the NASDAQ 100. Let's just see from that low what the gain has been to the high. It was about 21 2/3%. Currently from that low about 19%, so not too bad performance. But as of late, it's gone a bit more sideways, undecided. There's a lot of variables out there that are causing it to go one way or the other without any real consistency. We've got to move up through this high area, 4,600. No volume to speak of recently in there over that time scale, but 4,840, 4,850 would be that upside target. Downwards, you've got probably some support at 4,443, bit of volume there as you can see. Then the arc down to the point of control, that 38.2% Fibonacci line, 4,100 would be the downside, and then you've got all that price action in there as well. Indicator short-term bullish. So let's head into the real short-term chart. We've got back to mid-August on the chart. Used a $5 block size here, point of control where we are really at the moment. Potential upsides 4,564, 4,620 if it can get through all that noise there. If it can't, you can probably see 4,490, 4,460, 4,420 as the downside areas. Bit of a gap down there to, I said, that 4,460 might be a slower progress down towards those numbers, but again, there's price action at those numbers maybe to provide a bit of support at 4,440, 4,450 area. So there you go. I would say it's an undecided S&P 500 at the moment, being pushed and pulled all over the place. we've got on Wednesday CPI data numbers. So a good one could kickstart the S&P upwards. Bad one, you know, we could be anticipating more interest rate rises. So Wednesday, I think it's 1:30 Eastern time that comes out. So keep your eyes out for that number. That's probably the big one for this week to drive the market, unless there's any other random stuff that comes along in the meantime. But overall, again, you know, play your strategy, you know, have your plan, execute it. Don't just jump in off of a whim. Stick to the plan. It's a tricky trading times at the moment, but like I say, have that risk management plan in place and be safe with your trading. Plenty of opportunity out there. So more content to come tomorrow. I think we've got a double energy whammy of WTI and Nat Gas. Hope to see you in those videos, similar times to today. Check them out on the channel at TheStopHunter for joining links. But for today, hope you've enjoyed the analysis and catch up with you all soon.